you probably will find my thinking is very much out of the box. Now, I have totally different views on globalization. I'm going to stick to what we have in front of us, global awareness and mutual acceptance. Globalization, as it is understood at the moment, is not a holistic view. It's a very, very inadequate conception. What we have is a kind of market imperialism. We just accepted blindly from the West this idea of globalization, which is based on the old European market civilizations. And it's very important, as if you read the news nowadays, you will see that the old civilizations of Europe, the Celts, the Irish, of which I was born one, and the Greeks, we were the oldest civilizations of Europe, and yet we are the first casualties of the global, so to say, economic world. You would have read that. Now, the thing is, globalization, to me, does not seem to be working at all. A, because we have this non-holistic view, and secondly, we are not in a position yet, although hopefully change will come in the future, we are not in a position to all participate in that globalization. Globalization suggests that you have a collective entity which has a common law, which everyone is prepared to observe, that you have common standards of living, that you have reasonably suitable education for all the type of peoples, to suit all types of people, that you have a common health care, and there are so many factors. We must start on a level plane to go forward in a global world. So it is going to take a very long time. And of course, education is, to me, one of the most important things, because by education, we can become aware of all cultures. Globalization doesn't necessarily mean just a uniform, dull thing, like the sort of contents of a shopping mall. It means unity in the diversity, the rich diversity of all the countries of the world, maintaining, sustaining, and preserving their own identities, their own culture, their own language, their own religions, which we must all learn to suspect. I read once on the internet a saying which said, if you cannot appreciate the disparities and the differences in the world, then you cannot learn to cherish the joys. And this is very true. This is what we have to, not just awareness, but a deep understanding, a deep knowledge of these differences. My family were theosophists for a very long time. And theosophy, one of the conditions almost of being a theosophist, is that you do deep comparative religious studies. Because if you do not know what other religions are based upon, you can't appreciate those differences, you can't respect those differences, and also you fail to learn that all the great religions of the world have basically at their heart universal brotherhood, love for your fellow man, insan, as the Orissa, insaniyat. That is the thing which you learn from all religions. We are no different, we are simply on different paths. Now, if I tell you that to me globalization is old hat, you may be shocked. It is old hat, because as the young lady who announced and compared the evening's program yesterday said, We are actually spiritual beings on a human path, not the other way around. And for those who have always believed in reincarnation, we have been global for a long time. Our souls are global. We have changed genders in different lives. We have changed language. We have changed countries. We have changed religion. So we are really no different. So when I read about problems in India, and see these problems, female infanticide, for example, in another life, these are our sisters, our mothers, our daughters, our wives, and yet we are practicing female infanticide. The same with dowry deaths. These girls who suffer from dowry deaths on the paths of another life, these are our sisters. So you see, globalization really, there is nothing new when you look into the realm of the soul. And to really appreciate other cultures, other worlds, the differences in humanity, it is very important that everyone is aware of the esoteric world, not just the material world of big money, big jobs, power, and so on. Now, what has happened, for example, this dichotomy of societies. So many people who are tribal people, people I would call ethnic indigenous people, people who are struggling, 800 million of them probably. And then you have, on the other hand, of course, the corporates, the rich, the politicians. This exclusion, how to bring this dichotomy together? The people on the right side, the tribals, the ethnic peoples, those who are struggling to survive, these people are, they are not concerned with tomorrow, in my way of thinking. They are concerned with preserving what they have, their beliefs, their own religious ideas, and applying that somehow to sustain themselves at the present time. But it's the people with power and money who are hurtling somewhere. God alone knows where. They are hurtling somewhere at such a speed that disaster is inevitable. We have gone through, I was born in the 1930s. We went through the Russian idea of internationalism. The international brigades went from Russia into Spain, for example, to help the Spanish people at the time of the Civil War. We had universalism, we had cosmopolitanism, and we have globalization, and also now politicians are talking about multipolarity. Now, where are we all hurtling? That is the thing. We, in this galactic scramble, we are forgetting completely that we are human beings, that we are all equal in the sight of God, that most constitutions emphasize the equality of the people. Who are we to say we are any better or any different than the next man in the street? We are not. We are simply not. We are all the same. We are human beings, insan ke log. We have the same universal problems. We have the same quest for survival. And also, we have certain ambitions which should be kept in a reasonable check. So the Indian Constitution, which I have to quote quite a lot to people who abuse animals, for example, in section 50AG says, it exhorts the people, you must have compassion for all creatures. That includes man, animals, all of life, plants, trees, the environment. And if we don't do that, then we are not patriots. We are traitors, in fact, to the Constitution.